Good morning. It's spring here in Idaho. At least I thought it was. Got my pepper spray. Let's see what I can drop. I have a bunch of stuff in my pockets. I'm going to stick you on a post, and then I got to go do chores. Well, it looks like the neighbors finally took me serious. The one dog is now on a long line, a chain or whatever it is. So I'll have to still carry this around, but I'm hoping I never have to use it. It'll be a shame. It's not really the dog's fault, unfortunately. But, oh. Okay, so I'm taking note of the things that I need to do today because I'm going to be out here. I had to come in here, it was so cold. But I need to take note of the things that I need to do today in order to keep progressing through springtime and making sure that I have a good enough or big enough harvest to support my clients, myself, my animals, all of that stuff. And I'm a little disappointed in my tomato sprouting, and I'm wondering if it's just because nighttime temperatures are dropping more than what they should. I do have the seed starting heat mats, and I planted a whole bunch of them, but I don't have the number that I'm really wanting. That and the peppers. So I may actually go out and do a bunch of those again, because if I have extra, that's fine. I'm sure there's somebody out there that needs tomato plants, and I can provide them with tomatoes. But I definitely think I want to start some more of those. Okay, back out in the cold. A couple other things I want to make note of. My asparagus bed, because I did buy more asparagus crowns. So I have all of my rabbit poo. No chicken. Mr. Chicken right there. But I have the rabbit poo that's in here, so I need to spread that out, even that out, and then I need to plant the other crowns in that bed. I still need to, over here, I need to remove a bunch of this here. It's calendula. It's from last year. I know there's seeds on the ground. It's going to be a huge mess when I finally get to planting there, because they are all going to sprout. It's very prolific. But those are going to be coming up. All of this is going to be coming up. All of the poles are going to come up, and they're going to be moved down to the east. And all of these beds are kind of shift to the east, because I am taking the high tunnel and I'm doubling the length of it, so that I then have a larger seed starting area than what I have now. Because you've seen it. It's like there's so many seeds, and every year it's going to be that way. So I definitely need to prepare for that. And so this spring we're going to be extending that out to twice the length, so it will be 32 feet instead of 16. And then I'll start building more seed starting beds, tables. Sorry, I'm going to start more seed starting tables in there, so I'll have to build those. I am out of old construction wood, so I'm going to have to go buy more wood, which is fine because then it'll be straight and not all crooked. The potatoes got planted, but I do need to mulch that area now. The wind has died down today, so I can definitely get those mulched. So I will put the drip tape down on the potatoes and then mulch the potatoes with straw. And I do need some yard staples. I don't have very many, and I don't know if I have enough to do this particular area, so I may need to go get some more of those and put the drip tape down, mulch the area so then it at least is protected, so the soil's covered, because we don't want to leave any soil uncovered. If you don't cover Mother Earth, she will cover herself, and it will be covered with weeds. We don't want weeds, so we definitely need to do that. I also need to dig up all of my comfrey. So my strawberry beds over here have, I believe it's 14 comfrey plants, which will be way more when I start digging it up because they grow from the roots. So all of my comfrey plants here need to be dug up and put on the fence line way out there. That way nothing can grow right underneath the fence except the comfrey, because the comfrey will take over. So today is going to be a super busy day. Going to get a lot of stuff done. I also still need to dig up my elder plants. So I'm going to cut them down probably about 2 feet from the ground, so that way they'll be more bushy instead of tree-like, because they can be trees if you let them. But I'm going to cut those. I'm going to divide the root balls, and then I'm going to plant those out. I am going to dig up my goji berry, that's also called a wolfberry, and I'm going to plant that out on the east fence line. So yeah, a whole lot of stuff to do today. The sun's shining though, so that's really good. It may be cold, but man, I'm loving this sunshine. So I'm going to get started. So it looks like we're going to have quite a few. I believe I'm going to be able to get 15 out of this, which is what I need in order to do the west and the south fence line. So I'm going to start digging these out, see how hard the ground is. If it's too hard, because it is kind of cold this morning, it might still be frozen, then I'm just going to wet it down, which will defrost a lot of it, and then it'll soak into the ground, allowing me to pull it up a little bit better when it warms up this afternoon. So we'll see how it goes. So I have 5 dug up now. The one in the end, I'm going to have to take the raised bed apart in order to get to it, because the roots are pretty big and going a little bit deep. and it's going outside of the bed. So that far end right there, it's outside the bed. There's a branch coming out from underneath the raised bed, and that has to be dug up as well, and then I can start splitting it. I did get one branch off of it split, and it has two really good big roots. That should do just fine, but we're gonna take these out to the property line, not property line, out to the roadway, the east, the east fence line, and we're gonna start burying them over there. I forgot the vitamin B, so I'm gonna go get that, make sure that there's no transplant shock in the plants. So I gotta go get that. Ooh, it warmed up. That's gonna be great. I guess this weekend it's supposed to be close to 70, so I think things are just gonna keep warming up, which means I need to get the stuff in the ground ASAP so that it will grow. So I'm going to continue digging up the elder and bringing them to the property line. I have 4 more to go on this line and then 5 on that line. So let's keep doing it. Okay, so I dug this up and some of them kind of broke off, but you can see there's a lot of roots right there, and there's a lot of little sprouts coming off of this, which means all of this is going to produce a really good sized bush this year. It's nice, good, thick root structure. Even though some of it's broken, it's still going to produce and do really well. And I'm going to be able to split this up into a lot more than what I originally thought. So some of this is going to end up being here on the east fence line, and then I'm going to finish up over on the south fence line, and then everything else that I start digging up, the neighbors who have leased me their land have agreed to allow me to grow bushes and trees on their property for the farm. So we're going to be putting some of these over there in order to give a bigger area of food production. So I'm super excited about all of this, and I'm going to continue making more food. Along with the 300 willow bushes that I'm propagating, I now have 10 elderberry bushes on the east fence line. At each pole is 12 feet apart. On the other side of the fence, inside the garden area, are going to be other things, trees and raised beds and stuff. So I wanted to plant these on the fence line, outside the fence, in order to produce a more thick barrier to the property. This thicker barrier is going to provide kind of a screening from the roadway, kind of blocking what I'm doing in my homestead from the road. That way just random passerbyers are not encouraged to trespass and come onto the property, which provides us more operational security, OPSEC. Now that I have all this stuff on the east property line, I need to take all of these cuttings and transplant them over in the leased lot. I'm not sure how to reference it. I do know that I'm going to need to come up with some kind of name for it in order to kind of reference it when I do talk about it. That way everybody knows what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna take all of these. I'm gonna put them just off the property line on the leased area. We're gonna shove them into the ground. We're gonna water them, and any that grow, great. If any do not, no big deal, because they're just cuttings anyway. So we're hoping that we can get most of these to grow and provide some wind block, some barrier, and some protection for the gardens over there. I still need to dig up all of these, and you can see I'm kind of out of breath because I'm kind of out of shape. I do need to dig up these. I do need to remove this board here. We're moving that board in. That's why I don't mind pulling out a lot of that soil out of this area, because it's going to shrink up. Because as you can see, this area right here is really hard to get through with the garden cart and the wheelbarrow and stuff. So if I can take this and move it in, then that's going to give me a much bigger walkway to be able to go through here with all of my tools and equipment. So I still need to dig up the goji berry. So I'm going to continue working as the day progresses. It is getting warm though, so I'm loving it.